I want to thank every single person for being here today, for making this such a great breakfast. I also want to really extend my deepest thanks to the Imes and Richards family for the use of this incredibly beautiful facility. Hands together for the Imes and Richards. To all of our wonderful sponsors, to all of the FFA kids, and to all of our legislators who took time out, and our Farm Bureau, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you guys. There are many, many things going on in Harrisburg of late, but I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to highlight a few of those things that I thought this group would be most interested in. The buzzword of buzzwords is broadband. Am I right? Yeah. Not only for educational purposes, not only for the fact that so many of us found ourselves Zooming to work for 16 months, but also for medical. A lot of people don't understand the crises that existed during the pandemic for a lot of our folks who were in dire need of medical advice, medical treatment, psychological, psychiatric, counseling. All of those incredible things were really, really in the forefront during the pandemic. So broadband is something that we absolutely do have to address and get done, not just in the urban areas, but right out here in Washington County, Greene County, we all absolutely have to address that dire need. And I am very happy to share that my office has secured a grant for $225,000 to bring broadband to West Greene using a transponder system like the one used in Pittsburgh. So that's a pretty big deal. That was a big windfall for all of us. We're very happy about that. I wanted to thank the Washington County and the Greene County commissioners for your continued work to expand broadband throughout both of these counties, not to mention your commitment to the county's recovery money to those efforts. So can we please give our county commissioners a big round of applause? With that $225,000 grant, the work is scheduled to start in the spring of 2022, and the transponders will be attached to already constructed poles throughout West Greene and will be able to deliver at least 25 megabits per second download speeds wirelessly. That's a big deal. And this is not just for live streaming movies. This is for allowing our students the opportunity that others have in other areas. So in the Senate, a number of bills have been passed to help bring broadband closer and closer to becoming a reality. There are also important measures to move broadband forward in the House. And I want to acknowledge and thank Representatives Pam Snyder, Jim Marshall, and Robert Matzey for their important work championing this issue as well. And they're not here, but I still think they deserve a big round of applause because they worked tirelessly to bring that up. Now, I know I can't talk about meaningful tax reform without talking about property taxes. Oh, it's a dirty word. Everybody hates that. Property tax reform is one of the most hotly debated issues in Harrisburg and has been for years and years, and for good reason. Increasing and burdensome property taxes are one of the top concerns that constituents are continuously voicing to me. When I was running in 2014, knocking on 9,000 doors, I can't tell you how many seniors, even widows, I would knock on their door in a tiny little apartment and ask them what their priorities were. I'm like, well, not a lot. And I said, well, how about property tax? So many times they would burst into tears and tell me that they lost their homestead, their home that they'd had for years and years and years. It was paid off because they're on a fixed income and can't afford the ever-increasing property taxes. This can't be. So this is something that we have been working to resolve for it seems like forever. And we will keep working on that. To date, there are a variety of legislative proposals that have been introduced to address property taxes. But unfortunately, the pandemic sidelined many of those conversations and about topics like that. And I know that this is an important issue and we can't ignore it anymore, and therefore I will continue to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, both sides of the building, to find common ground and a meaningful solution, because I know how very important and impactful this issue is to everyone. When it comes to the state budget, which is funded by our hard-earned taxpayer dollars, I fought for a responsible general fund budget that supports Pennsylvania's economic recovery from the pandemic while restoring all of the governor's proposed cuts in funding for agricultural programs. It also put $2.5 billion into the rainy day fund. It was raining pretty hard in 2020, wasn't it? We need a rainy day fund. We can't survive without it. And before that money was put into there, what was left in the rainy day fund would have supported the Pennsylvania for, I think, 23 hours. That's not quite enough. So I'm glad to see that we focused on that initiative. Unfortunately, each year with the budget, we also have to stop Governor Wolf's attempts to stifle, overregulate, and overtax our fossil fuel industry. I know that's very important to everybody, because if you look out these doors over here, you can see the wonderful sight of a gas well. That has afforded so many of our farmers the ability to maintain their property, keep their families here, and reinvest in what they need to continue farming. It's vital. It's synergistic, just like Chris had said before. The two are hand in hand. We are fortunate to be standing on some of the most vast natural gas reserves in the world. And it is my sincere hope that we can continue to foster the energy industry while encouraging the growth of manufacturing and other sectors that will help provide both a market for this wonderful resource and job opportunities for our communities. That's why I'm focusing efforts on supporting safe and reliable natural gas infrastructure, workforce development, and job training programs that strengthen our communities. I know this is a balance that has to be met with environmental safeguards and protections for landowners' mineral rights. This is an issue that I've spoken about with many of you already, and I'm committed to making your concerns known in Harrisburg as discussions on these important issues continue. We just recently read a press release from a senator, one of my colleagues, who demanded that the DEP cease all permitting for all pipelines across Pennsylvania. So even though we're producing gas in Pennsylvania, we literally are the one of the world's biggest producers of natural gas. And now, because they couldn't halt production, they want to halt the delivery. This is causing a worldwide energy crisis. It's not just affecting Pennsylvanians, it's affecting the entire world. It deals with national security, it deals with jobs, it deals with keeping grandma from freezing in the wintertime. So this is something that we are focusing on a lot. To that end, I'm having a press conference on Tuesday in Harrisburg addressing this very issue. So it is vital that we remain energy self-sufficient and continue to have great paying jobs, family sustaining jobs, to keep our families right here in Pennsylvania. We're losing too many of them. Finally, I want to wrap up by talking about healthcare. Rural areas like ours rely heavily on local hospitals, nurse practitioners, and emergency responders to meet the healthcare needs of our region. I've been in constant communication with community hospitals, healthcare workers, and emergency medical service personnel in the district since the start of the pandemic to hear their concerns, learn their needs, and help ensure they have access to adequate personal protective equipment. In the wake of the pandemic, some healthcare workers moved up retirement plans or left the workforce entirely, sometimes due to stress from the pandemic or due to meeting challenges such as lack of childcare or helping their elderly parents at home. I remain committed to ensuring our emergency responders, hospitals, and healthcare workers have the tools and resources they need. To that end, here are some of the proposals that I am supporting. the Healthcare Heroes and Public Health Preparedness Act. That's a really, really long title. But what it does is it's legislation I've sponsored to provide additional federal funding to our hospitals to develop key partnerships to keep our public health system strong, and also make sure that we are maintaining a strong infrastructure in the towns that we call home. We need to keep our hospitals close and our healthcare workers employed locally. Expanding access to care by granting full practice authority to nurse practitioners. I've sponsored Senate Bill 25. We've been trying to push this rope uphill for years. What this would do is make Pennsylvania the same as 24 other states, the District of Columbia, and every VA in America. It would give nurse practitioners full practice authority. So after 3 years and 3,600 hours under a doctor's supervision, they can hang their shingle and they can start providing really good quality health care in their neighborhoods to the friends and neighbors that they've grown up with and cared for years. So we're still trying to pass that. That's SB 25. If you want to send a little note to your legislator, let them know you're supporting that one. Finally, supporting our brave firefighters and EMS personnel with proposals such as Senate Bill 739, which would permit municipal fire departments access to emergency service loan assistance programs, and Senate Bill 243 that would allow volunteer fire departments, veterans organizations, and other nonprofits to conduct small games of chance fundraisers online to make up for fundraising revenue lost during the pandemic. Remember when you drive through town and your local fire department would have boot drives, the guys would be out there, or the gals would be out there with a boot and they're collecting money, or bingos, or any of those great things that people in small communities appreciated, and we were able to donate to and support our local fire departments. The pandemic halted all of that. So our volunteer fire departments and our EMS have been struggling greatly. So this measure would allow them to do those things online. Keep people safe at home if that's where they want to be, but still support our local fire and EMS. As I have said, the list of issues in Harrisburg is long, but I just wanted to hit on those topics this morning and let you know that my door is always open. My office always answers the phone. Everybody knows Eric, don't they? Eric Cowden, he's the best. And thank you, Eric, for helping to put this whole thing together. You're awesome. Really, truly appreciate it. So just to touch on those few things, if you want to know anything else that's happening in Harrisburg, any of our initiatives, you can sign up for my e-newsletter. It comes out weekly, or give us a call, stop by. But we're here to support you, help you, and serve you.